With all the recent rain, I wanted to head down to San Diego to see some of the waterfalls that I had never seen flowing before. I enlisted one of my friends and we went to 2 great waterfalls, plus what is supposed to be one of the best pie places in California. Let's jump into it. After an hour-and-a-half drive south, our day began with a hike to Cedar Creek Falls. This is one of San Diego's most popular hiking trails in the springtime because it's a beautiful waterfall. Today I met up with my friend Chris, the last adventurer.
Waterfall expert.
We are going hiking in San Diego. Cedar Creek Falls used to be so popular that people would have parties down by the water and the waterfall, and so they had to institute a permit system. I'll leave a link to where you can get permits in the description, but we were able to secure one about a week earlier and then met on a Saturday to hike down. The hike is 5.5 miles round trip with 1,000 feet of elevation gain. While it's not one of the more difficult trails in San Diego, it can be tough because there's basically no shade and it's all uphill the way out. This is definitely not one of those trails you want to do late in the day on a hot summer day. I don't really have much to say on the way down other than that the mountains were a beautiful green from all the rain surrounding us. There are multiple areas with benches and a little bit of shade that you can rest at if you need them. We're about 1.5 miles into the trail and we are almost done with the downhill, which means it's uphill all the way back and it can get really hot, so be sure to bring water. Hopefully there's a good waterfall waiting for us at the end though. This looks like something that has been made for influencers, but you can go walk out on that rock for a photo, I guess. After about 45 minutes, we made it to where the trail flattens out and the real adventure begins. We're officially 2 miles in, we got 1 mile left to go to the waterfall. We've basically done all the elevations, so now we just gotta go into the canyon. I can hear the water flowing.
I can hear it, it's a beautiful sound.
This time of the year, there's a good amount of water, so we basically have to walk across in the water, which means shoes off. Oh, that's some cold water. So that's basically the coldest my feet have ever been walking across that. That was very cold. 2 more water crossings, someone told us. During this part of the trail, you basically walk back into the canyon with multiple water crossings. Normally there's not much water here, so the water crossings are just hopping along on rocks, but that wasn't the case today. 1/2 mile to the waterfall. We're almost there. Woo! Yeah, I'm not taking my shoes off again. Look at Chris taking a selfie in that cold water. That's commitment. These last 2 water crossings were actually almost knee deep. The water wasn't flowing too bad, so it was easy to cross, but it was definitely cold and a little bit deeper than I thought it was going to be. If you do this after the rain like we did, you might want to bring hiking poles just to steady yourself as you cross the water. Last 1/4 mile of this trail is basically just kind of rock hopping and trying to stay out of the water as you make your way through the canyon to the waterfall, which you can almost see right there. That waterfall is raging. I've never seen this waterfall before. Previous time I hiked this, it was completely dry, so I'm so stoked to finally see it like this. As you approach Cedar Creek Falls, you'll have to do a little bit of boulder hopping to get to the main viewing area. There are about a dozen people enjoying the waterfall with us, and the water flow is really impressive. Made it to Cedar Creek Falls. It is raging right now. Cedar Creek Falls is about an 80-foot waterfall where the water bounces off the rocks below and into a massive pool. The area is often used for swimming, but it was way too cold to swim when we were there. It used to be used for cliff jumping, but all of the rocks around the waterfall are closed because of all the injuries that they had. We just hung out for about 20 minutes and watched the raging water before we started the hike back up. Epic day to see that waterfall. I'm putting this away since it's just an uphill grind on the way back and we're heading on next spot. Again, note this is not a good hike to do in the summer as it's very hot on the way back up. Made it back from Cedar Creek Falls. That was an incredible waterfall this time of year with the amount of water that was in it. Awesome hike, but make sure you get a permit if you want to do it, and now we are heading on. For our second waterfall of the day, we decided to do Three Sisters Falls, which is outside of Julian. This is one I had done years ago, and I was excited to see it again, especially after all the rain. Even though it's only a few miles from Cedar Creek Falls the way the crow flies, it's about an hour to drive all the way around. Also, we tried to go in on Forest Road 13S06 to get to the trailhead, but unfortunately that road was closed because of a washout. We didn't know that until we drove all the way down there, and it was going to be another hour to drive all the way back around. So if you want to see Three Sisters, you can watch the video I made a few years ago, but this route did have a surprise for us.
Chris and I were trying to get to Three Sisters and the road was closed because it had a washout on it. So we were a little bit bummed, but then we got to the end of the road and we saw this, which was Mildred Falls, and it is the tallest waterfall in San Diego.
The tallest.
And apparently it only flows like very rarely after a good rain. So it's pretty epic to be able to see this. We're gonna go up top and see it from a few different angles.
I can't find the exact height online, but it seems like it's between 200 to 300 feet tall. It was a sight to see even across the canyon where we were standing. Someone there told us that you could drive up to the top of the hill and there was a turnout for around 3 cars near the top of the waterfall. That's where we headed next, and it was exactly as described. Unfortunately, it's not really a great place to see the waterfall from, but it was still a cool different view. Again, if you try to come out here 90% of the year, you'll probably never see a waterfall in this spot. This is one of the more elusive waterfalls because it only really flows after a good rain. I've heard from many people that they've never actually seen it and that they've only seen the rocks a little bit wet and not water flowing over them. If there's a really good rain and you want to see it, note that the road is dirt to get out here and it can get washed out or really muddy. You may even need 4-wheel drive.
Ending our excursion in the backcountry of San Diego with that waterfall, heading to Julian to grab some pie before ending this video.
We planned to go to Julian, but found ourselves in Santa Isabel in order to go to a pie company that has really good reviews.
So Chris and I were researching on the way down here that this place, which is outside of Julian, says it had the best pie in California according to Yelp. So we skipped Julian in order to go here. It better be worth it.
Better be worth it.
Chris, how are you feeling about this place? What do you think?
I'm so stoked this bear and I are gonna eat this pie.
This pie shop really showed up on the map when Yelp said it was the best pie in California in a list they made in 2022. We headed in and asked for recommendations and ended up getting 3 slices of pie to try.
All right, we got Dutch apple, we got peach apple, and we got boysenberry apple. Chris is going peach apple.
Peach apple. Real peaches.
Oh.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10? Is it the best pie in California?
I don't know. I feel that's a pretty strong claim. It's pretty good, but I don't know.
You gave it a perfect rating. That means it must be the best pie. Would you like to change that? 9.8?
9.8.
So close to the best pie in California. All right. All right, I'm going an original Dutch crunch apple. That's what they said was the best one. So look at that. Wow. Oh, yeah. That is a good pie. 9.8. Next time I come here, I think I'm gonna have to get a slice of pie here and a slice of pie in Julian so I can have a better understanding of the two. But I have to say, I'm not let down by this pie. It is very good. That's it for our adventure today in San Diego. Hopefully you had fun with us. Check out this pie place. We'll see you on the next video. One more check-in. Boysenberry apple is very strong. That might be my favorite.
Boysenberry apple. That's where
your
it's at.
favorite?
Yeah, it's where it's at.
All right, we'll see you on the next one.